Are Brooks saddles worth the hype? If you ask in nearly any bike touring community which saddle is best, the answer I've seen over and over again is Brooks. Or more specifically, the Brooks B17 leather saddle. I've heard this for years, but I've avoided leather saddles because honestly, they seem like a pain. You have to treat them and tension them and avoid them getting wet, and some say it takes hundreds of riding miles to break them in. What a nuisance. No, thank you. But I just bought one. Let me explain. For the last couple of years, I've been using Brooks's C19 saddle, which is made of rubber, so it doesn't need all those extra steps. And it has served me very well. But I find I have to wear chamois shorts, and even with them, I get kind of sore on long days. It might sound silly, but I would love to be able to bike tour in regular clothes. As much as I love my chamois shorts, they're bulky to pack, and I'd like to be able to go from riding my bike to exploring a new place without feeling like I'm wearing a shiny diaper. Everything I've read suggests this saddle might help me do that. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to be following the recommended maintenance, trying to break it in, and overall testing out if it feels like it's worth the hype. The first step, my research tells me, is to apply Brooks Proofide dressing. Soft cloth, thin layer, leave for at least an hour, remove with dry soft cloth, and buff. I did that on the top and the bottom for the first application, but moving forward, I only have to do it on the top side every 2 weeks during the break-in period, and then after that, every 3 to 6 months, depending on how it looks. For now, let's just go try riding this thing. All right, let's give this a real test ride. Okay, first impressions are, my sit bones are a little too supported. It's like they're supported by a wooden pew. Well, I won't be one of the lucky few that has it fit great right out of the box. But we shan't despair. All right, well, that hurt, but it's only the first ride, so just gotta keep at it. Okay, basically my plan today is to go as far as I can until my butt hurts too much. So let's see how that goes. Little did this Sheila know that this Sheila was going to have sore sit bones basically the entire ride. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, ow. So after about 10 kilometers, it was time to call it quits. However, we did learn one thing from this ride, which is that the saddle felt a little too far forward. After a simple adjustment and a rest day, it was time to try again. Today, I'm introducing a new element on account of the elements. It's calling for rain today, and you aren't supposed to ride a leather saddle when it's wet. As somebody who travels by bike in all sorts of weather conditions, this is the part of having a leather saddle that put me off the most. But I bought Brooks's waterproof saddle rain cover, so let's see how this goes. It literally started raining just as I was putting this on. Well, it certainly looks like it's doing its job, but I can't figure out how to tighten it. I want to make sure it's covering the whole thing, like the underside too. Okay, that is looking better. Not too shabby. Want to see the underside? Look at that. Look at that little shower cap. Neato. Me and my saddle are all suited up. This ride feels kind of the same, just wetter. My butt still hurts pretty much the whole time, but I do make it 18 kilometers, bringing my grand total so far to 30 kilometers. I've mentally allotted at least a few hundred kilometers to breaking this thing in, so I'm not giving up yet. In the positive column, it drizzled most of the ride, and the cover seemed to work well. I'm pretty sure that little bit of water you can see came from the side of the cover when I was taking it off, because the saddle actually felt really dry. I think for trips, I would still also pack a plastic bag to cover it to be extra safe, especially when leaving my bike next to my tent overnight. A few days later, I decided to kick it up a notch and do a 53-kilometer rail trail. Not exactly the slow build I was planning. My butt already hurts. But your girl's gotta ride. My sit bones tolerate this ride okay, but I feel like I just can't find a good position. My lower back either feels hunched or there's too much pressure on my sit bones. Without the cutout I used to have, I also feel pressure in some positions on, I think the professional term is pubic area? So not the most comfortable experience, but this was my first longer ride, so I haven't lost faith yet. Now back to my maintenance. It's been 2 weeks now, which means I need to reapply the Brooks Proofide dressing to keep helping break it in. I actually found that the package has a little starter thing of dressing. It's only for the first application though, so I did need the jar over the long term anyway, but that's nice to have. And then the package also comes with this little tensioning wrench. Brooks' website recommends checking the saddle every 6 months, and if it's sagging, to use this to tension it. It doesn't look like a super complicated process, and checking every 6 months isn't a big deal, so that's something I don't think will be hard to do, but it isn't something that I need to do right now. All in all, I would say this maintenance isn't as daunting as I thought it might be. I might need to set some reminders on my phone, but it's very doable. For my next ride, I want to give a longer ride another go, so I head out for a 47-kilometer loop. Again, I just can't get comfortable. Not great. I feel like I want to scooch more back to be supported by the saddle, but there's no more room on the rails. I also feel like the inner underside of my legs is chafing on the bottom edges of the saddle, which is uncomfortable. Here's me trying to show you what I mean by the edges of the saddle chafing. People walking by probably thought I had a weird niche OnlyFans account, which, to be clear, I do not. For the first time, I'm starting to feel discouraged. I've heard such great things about this saddle, but it just doesn't feel like it's working for me. However, I'm not ready to give up. The next thing I consider is this saddle is designed for a 60-degree angled riding position. I wonder if I'm a little more upright than that, so I put a longer stem on to see if that helps. This puts more weight on my wrists than I like, and I still can't find a position where my sit bones are happy. Starting to lose faith, I reach out to my bike fitter. He can't see me for a few weeks, but suggests that sometimes when you feel like you want to scooch back, the solution is actually to do the opposite. I thought he sounded crazy, but he's the professional. So I slam my seat forward, and it actually helps. I feel a lot more supported. Over the next several weeks, I keep up my maintenance and I keep riding. I do little commute rides and longer rides with friends. I ride on pavement and gravel and trails. I am determined to break this saddle in, and despite the discomfort, I keep riding it for over 2 months. But after a 33-kilometer trail ride with friends, bringing me to 313 kilometers total of breaking in, I hit my own breaking point. I want so badly for this saddle to work, and it's just not. I did like 31 kilometers today on a variety of terrains. So like everything I would experience when I'm bike touring: pavement, broken pavement, mountain biking, gravel, like I was on it all. And the first 20 kilometers were okay, but after that, it's just my sit bones hurt so much. I get that little chafing underneath the saddle. In some positions, I feel that pressure because there's no cutout in the middle of the saddle. It's just not working. But the friends I rode with today, they had a spare one of these saddles, which they really love. I will look up what the official name is. It's from Ergon. I don't want to give up on the Brooks yet, but I just need to see what it's like with something different. I think this is foam based. It has like the dip, not exactly a cutout, but like a good dip, and a lot of space on the bars, so that might be a helpful change. I'm gonna give it a try on my next ride and just do a little comparison. Honestly, I pretty instantly feel relief with this saddle. I need to play around to find the right position throughout the ride, but with that little bit of cushion, my sit bones can sit so easily. Bumps that made me wince with the Brooks B17 and even with my old C19 suddenly feel like nothing. I do 62 kilometers, and given how my last ride, which was basically half that distance, felt, I don't know that would have been possible on the Brooks. So I guess it's time to make a decision. After over 2 months and 300 kilometers, I've decided that the Brooks B17 just isn't the right saddle for me. For now, at least. I have a bike tour coming up, and given that it feels roughly the same 300 kilometers in as it did 30 kilometers in, I just don't think it's worth taking the risk that it's not gonna feel good when I'm out on the road. I don't know that the Ergon is gonna be my forever saddle. I talk about it like it's my soulmate, but it feels that way sometimes. A saddle's really important. I still need to see how it feels on a full tour, but right now it just feels so much better than the Brooks. Overall, my impressions are that the maintenance really isn't as big of a bother as I thought it would be. I think if the saddle was as comfortable for me as I've heard it be for so many other people, I would really, really happily do the maintenance. I may try breaking in the Brooks again when I'm back from my trip. I've read about people's great experiences with the Brooks B17 for years, and I just needed to finally try it for myself. But everybody's body is different, and maybe it's just not the right saddle for me, and that's okay. So that means I'm still on the hunt for my perfect saddle. If you haven't already, I hope you find your dream saddle soon too. And if you do, please let me know what it is. Like seriously, please. All right, all you saddle connoisseurs out there, help a fellow cyclist out and share your favorite saddles in the comments. And if you're a Brooks lover that thinks I should give it another go, please share your break-in tips. Let's help everyone get their comfiest ride yet.